started. And as people join, I know Letha Humphrey is signed up to take this class. Marguerite and Sharita. About said Gwen, but you're Gwen and you're here. But sometimes at the beginning of the class, it just takes a little bit to get in the routine. And then at SOWEGA, there's new people in charge. So just be patient as we get started. And for those of you who are just watching from a recording, because I always record the videos and upload them to YouTube, it's just a great way to stay in that routine of class, because stuff comes up and you have to miss. Last week was a lot more talking than actual Tai Chi, but it's important because we talked about principles, some of the benefits, and just some of the ways that we run the class. And if you haven't watched it, I invite you to watch last week's class, and that would be on the YouTube under SOWEGA August, what was last week, 15th, and then this class will say AM for the morning class. So just rewatch that. So I'm not going to spend time going over the same things today, but you can always go back and watch that. And I'm going to be talking about principles throughout our movements. I do want to let you know that next week we will not have class. I was like on the fence about it because I have to go to SE4A conference in Asheville. And if you remember last year, I went to a SE4A conference in Florida. I think it was in Amelia, somewhere around Jacksonville. But I skipped my classes, or whatever they're called, the session. I skipped my sessions and went to my room and did class. But I waited until I got the agenda to decide if it was skip worthy. And I think that these classes during our time will be worthwhile. The morning class is about falls prevention classes and collaborating with other agencies. And then, which is what I do, but I'm always willing to learn how to do it better. And then the afternoon class is addressing social isolation and loneliness. And that's definitely a buzzword right now, ever since COVID, especially. And so those are two things I'd like to learn about. So I hate to cancel class, but I feel like it'll be worthwhile in helping me be a better instructor in the long run. So we'll make it up. We'll still do the 16 weeks. But y'all let me know if you have any questions. Use next week as a time to visit YouTube and, practice, even going over this week's class where we do the warm-up stretches. You have any questions, or are we good? Okay. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and get started. What we do every time first of class is just walk, open and close our hands, pump our arms. We're just really trying to get that blood flowing and getting our bodies warmed up. Now, it's pretty easy to have warmed up bodies whenever it's 400 degrees outside. So we just been living warmed up, haven't we? But still, it's part of the prescribed process of our class is walking, open, and closing. Generally, I don't encourage walking backwards because you don't know what's behind you. But in order to stay in camera, I'm walking back and forth and I can see what's behind me. But we just spend that few minutes getting our bodies warmed up and ready to decrease our chance of injury. So now we'll go through our warm-up stretches, and they're really to stretch all the major joints in our body. We have 2 for our neck, shoulders, spine, hips, knees, and ankles. And, as long as you practice principle with movement control, body structure, and that internal part of Tai Chi, as long as you're practicing principle, you can stay with these warm-up stretches. You never even have to learn that Tai Chi series of movements. So if you ever find that the Tai Chi series of movements is overwhelming, just come back to the warm-ups, follow the principle, and you'll get all those wonderful benefits of Tai Chi. So first and foremost, we want to get our body in a way that is nice and supportive in structure. I have my feet about hip width, shoulder width apart. I tend to be a little bit wide. That's where I feel most comfortable. I have a soft bend in my knee. In Tai Chi, we always keep an open joint. We don't lock our joint. So when I talk about a soft bend, it's the difference between here and here. Lock joint versus that open soft bend. Same with our knees. You really maybe can't tell because of the fit of my jeans, but there's the soft bend versus locked joints. Soft bend, locked joints. And so we just keep that so the nice energy flows. So we're here in a nice stable stance. I have good posture. My shoulders are relaxed. Let me see if I can pull this a little bit forward. I got a new laptop. So the camera may be, it might take me a second to get the angles exactly right. Nice, good posture. Shoulders are relaxed. This is part of our body structure in Tai Chi. We want to have that body awareness and be conscious if we're ever holding tension anywhere in our body. But one of my natures is to hold a little tension in my shoulders. So just making sure our shoulders are nice and relaxed. We have that good posture. We're not leaning forward or backwards or sideways. We have our feet shoulder width apart, and our weight is on both feet. Nice soft bend in our knees. So that's that nice stable stance we want to do our Tai Chi from. So starting with our neck, we have our hands to our side. We're going to bring our hands up, palms down. We don't go any higher than shoulder height. Once we go higher like that, you start feeling tension in your shoulders. So right there, now turn your hands and bring them towards our chin and chest. Then push away from our bodies and follow those hands all the way down. So you feel a little stretch in the back of your neck. Inhale as you come up, and then exhale whenever you get ready. All our lungs are different, so you may breathe at a different rate than I do. I'm struggling today to breathe through my nose, so all my breathing is going through my mouth, which feels kind of weird. In terms of gentle resistance, which is something under our movement control, whenever we come up, pretend like that we're moving through water, and that creates that gentle resistance and helps those muscles work. Even though they don't have to, it just gives us that extra little bit. So for our other neck exercise, we start out that same way. Bring our hands chin to chest. We drop one to our hip and follow this one over as we look towards that shoulder. Feel that little bit of stretch. Come back to the front. Switch hands. Now look towards that other shoulder. You may feel a little stiff here. The more you do that exercise, the more mobile or flexible your neck will be. Do a little tension check. Make sure you're not holding tension as you go side to side. Just breathe in your natural pace. Inhale and exhale completely, filling and emptying your lungs with air. Only moving the head, your body staying forward. If we moved our waist, we would be stretching our spine. So this is just for our neck. And hands down. Now for our shoulders, let's roll our shoulders forward. And our intention is really small circles, like the size of a quarter. So I think about those hands on the side of my legs, drawing circles forward, and then draw those circles back. Feels like a massage you give yourself when you roll those shoulders. So make an intention to stay small as you roll those shoulders forward and roll those shoulders back. Always roll back second after rolling forward first, and that really does reset your posture and helps remind you to be upright. The other one for our shoulder is a shoulder circle. We take our palms facing up and bring our hands up and then push those hands down in front of us. We can inhale as we come up and exhale as we push down. We can also think about gentle resistance, like we're moving through water as we do that movement. Inhale and exhale. Slow, smooth, and continuous in nature. Now for our spine, let's grab our ball, hands facing each other. The hand that's on top of the ball is going to push down towards the ground. Remember, keeping that soft bend. And the other hand's going to follow that spine up and then push up towards that ceiling. So we're pushing up and down at the same time, stretching that spine. Coming back to our ball and switching. So now the other hand pushes up and the other hand pushes down, stretching that spine vertically. Back to our ball and switch. Come back to our ball and switch. In terms of breath, I like to inhale as I come to the ball and exhale as I push and separate. Especially in a normal breathing situation. Just going side to side, being conscious of posture and tension in our shoulders as we stretch. Getting a little extra practice in with these warm-up stretch moves as we're reminded, because we've done them before. Most of you have done them before. Let's come to this ball. If not, we're learning, and we learn by experiencing. Back to the ball, the hand that's on top tells us what direction we're going. So we're going to go in that direction, taking that ball to just above that knee, then switching our hands, coming across our body and stopping above that other knee. So our hands or arms are just going along for the ride. It's our torso, the top part of our body, that's moving side to side. So a while ago when I said following that hand as you turn your neck, that stretches your neck. If you were to move your arms, that wouldn't do a thing for your spine. So we have to move our bodies in order to stretch and warm up that spine horizontally. Breathing sometimes can be tricky, especially if you have a very long inhale and exhale with this movement. So just breathe at whatever pace feels comfortable for you as you go side to side. Come back to the middle and hands down. Those are our upper body movements. So that whole time our legs were staying still. The weight on both legs with that nice soft bend. They may even feel a little bit tired. If you do feel a little tired in the legs, just give yourself a little shake, bend those knees, whatever kind of loosens up those legs a little bit, because it is tiring to hold your weight that whole time. Now, as we go to our lower body stretches and warm-ups, we start doing that body structure principle of weight transfer. And so this can be tricky for people that have falls, like fear of falling, but also if you don't have good balance, you know that, and you're you're scared that you'll fall, maybe you have fallen before, that's a good time to have a chair. I have my chair over there. I would bring it in front of me and hold on to it with my hands, or at least have it there just in case. I have a table here that I can put my hand on for stability. I have a wall here that I can put my hand on for stability. Don't use a chair like this, because why? It has wheels. And if you were to try to use it for stability, it would move out from under you and make you fall. So whatever stable object you choose, make sure that it is stable. These are the movements that, skip the upper body, skip the arm movements, and hold on if you need to, and just do the lower body movements. Or you can sit down and push your feet into the floor rather than shifting weight from one leg to the other. So here you have some choices based on your ability, based on where you are now, but also you may just not be feeling it today. So you can choose at any time to listen to your body and have a seat. We're all experiencing our life differently, so listen to your body. Don't feel like you have to, keep trudging through. So to do our first movement for our hips, again, we revisit our posture. Make sure we're not holding any tension. Our legs are a good width apart, soft bend in our knees. We're going to shift our weight to one leg, and it doesn't matter which, because we'll do the other next. We're going to place our heel out forward and our hands are back. So from the side view, it's weight shift, heel forward, hands back. Then we pause in the middle, and then we tap our toe back while our hand is forward. Notice my posture never changed. From a front view, we shift our weight to the other leg, heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and then that toe goes back like a kickstand, a little bit at an angle versus straight back. So here is more stable than here, just like that. So heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward. Heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward. Back to center, shift the weight, heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward. Pause. Here, heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward. Let's do one more. Pause in the middle, heel, pause, and toe back. So that whole time you kept that upright posture. So that's our first experience with weight transfer. It's a lot to ask your body to hold that weight on one leg. So what we did there was we did the 3 in a row. If you need a little bit more of a break than that, you can go from one side and do heel, pause, toe, come back to center, shift the weight, and then do heel, pause, toe on the other side. So that's another way to do it and give that one leg a break from holding your weight the whole time. So I try to give you some different variations so that you can do this movement and get the full benefit from it, but at your own safety level. The next one for our hips involves shifting weight from one leg to the other. And the hand movement looks like this. We have our hands stacked, and we're going to, like we're opening a curtain. We're going in the direction of that weight shift, stopping in the frame of our body, tapping that toe out, bringing it back, switching our hands, shift, tap, back to center, shift, back, shift, tap. Notice my body staying upright through this movement. I'm not leaning with the weight shift. You may feel a natural you might want to lean just naturally, but keep that body upright as you shift the weight, as you tap out. Woo, I've just caught myself with tension in my shoulders. And if you watched me, you saw me lay them back down. One of the good things about Tai Chi is it helps you be aware of your body so that you can nip any problems in the bud before you start having pain from the way you're holding it. If you hold your shoulders up like this, you're going to start having shoulder and neck aches. Remind yourself to keep those shoulders nice and relaxed, and you can be relieved from that. So those are the two for our hips. Next, for our knees, loose fist, like you're holding an egg that you don't want to break. I like to have my loose fist down here by my hips, but as long as you're not holding tension in your shoulders, you can have them a little higher if that feels more comfortable for you. So what we're going to do is shift our weight to one leg. We're going to lift the other, tap that foot out while we punch the opposite hand, keeping that soft bend, bringing it back, shift, lift, tap and punch, bring 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 it back, shift, lift, tap and punch. Very good. Now we're going to shift our weight sideways or to the side. We're going to take a small step forward. We're going to shift the weight to that front foot. Not all of the weight, just a little weight as we punch the opposite hand. Bring it back, feet side by side. Shift, step, heel, toe. Shift and punch. Bring it back, feet side by side. Shift, step, heel, toe. Shift and punch. Again, keeping that body upright, not leaning into that weight shift. And that's a challenge. Here and back, side by side. So we're really practicing weight shifts side to side and front and back with this movement. So that gets us ready for our Tai Chi series of movements. Very good. Now for our ankles, I like to hold my hands here. You can hold them to your side, wherever you feel comfortable, holding onto your chair, if you will. There's no arm movements for our ankle warm-up stretch. We shift our weight, and then we go heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. So this helps with the mobility of your ankle. I can't tell you how many people have talked about the good of this exercise, helping with their ankle being flexible. Shift and let's go to the other foot. Helps keep them from twisting the ankle. Maybe there's an uneven ground, the hole in your yard. This can help you recover and not fall when you're faced with those situations. Shift, and now let's do big toe, little toe. So side to side. And to the other side, shift, little toe, big toe, side to side. And your ankles, all your joints will be more and more flexible the more you practice these movements. So they may feel really stiff today, but that's just where you are, and decide to grow from there. So let's give ourselves a shape. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back through those to our warm-ups. As we progress through class, we'll spend less time on these warm-ups. Do a time check, okay? We're we'll spend less time doing those and utilize them as actual warm-ups. But in the beginning, we're just reminding ourselves of what we already know or actually learning them for the first time. So let's start with our posture check. Where's our weight? Nice stable stance. No tension in our shoulders. And hey, let's remember to breathe. If I ever tell you, hey, take a breath or don't forget to breathe, it's because I've caught myself holding my breath. So here we go from the top for our neck. Hands up towards our chin and chest. Push away and follow those hands down. 2 more times. For our neck, starts out that same way. Towards our chin and chest, we drop one to our hip. Follow this one as we look towards that shoulder. Back to the front and switch. Two more each side. Remember, keep that slow, smooth, and continuous pace, not getting in a hurry. That's the beauty of this class, is to relax and experience meditation through movement. For our shoulders, remember, we draw those little circles on our legs as we roll forward. And roll those shoulders back. Like a little massage. Forward. And back. And big shoulder circle. Hands come up, palms up, and we push down in front of us. Inhale up, exhale down. For our spine, let's grab our ball, separating the heavens and the earth, stretch vertically, back to our ball, and switch. Ball and switch. Stretching that spine, back to ball and switch. Inhale as you come and exhale as you separate. Go back to your ball. Now let's take it for a ride, going the direction of the hand that's on top. Switch our hands and come cross body. Switch. Smooth, continuous movement. Back to center and down. For our hips, shift the weight, heel forward, hands back, pause, toe back, hands forward, pause, heel forward, hands back, pause, toe forward, toe back, hands forward. I think that medicine's messing with my head, that allergy medicine. Ooh, that leg's getting tired. Let's give it some relief and shift the weight to this leg. Heel forward, hands back, pause, toe back, hands forward. 2 more times. I think I did 4 is why that leg was getting so tired. I think my body knows, hey, that's enough, sis. And here. Shifting weight side to side with our hands going in the direction of the weight shift. Tapping, switch, shift, tap. 2 more, keeping that body upright. Our knees, nice loose fist. Shift, lift, tap and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch. 2 more each side. Last one. Other knee exercise, shift the weight, step out, shift forward and punch, bring it back, shift, step heel toe, shift as you punch, bring it back. 2 more each side, shift. Lots of weight shifting going on here. Be sensitive to your knees. You may feel a little pain. But if you feel anything sharp, just skip that. Don't give it the amount of weight that causes you pain. You can give it a little bit and then releasing it. Do what's comfortable for you. Ankles, shift and heel toe. Rocking that foot, heel toe. Bring that foot back, shift, heel toe, heel toe. Bring it back, shift the weight, big toe, little toe. So hopefully you feel more comfortable with these warm-up stretches and moves. Remember, this will be on recording on YouTube. You can go back and just go through it with me. The more you practice, the better you'll get at it. Give yourself a nice shake. Those are our warm-up stretches that we do every time. And now that prepares us to go into our Tai Chi series of movements. Remember that the type of, I don't even think I said this last week, but the type of Tai Chi that we do is called Sun style, S-U-N, Sun style Tai Chi. And that means that it is has a higher stance versus really like crouched down or squatted down. You've probably seen Tai Chi that has a big bend in that knee. This is not that. So Sun style has a higher stance. Whenever we, certain movements call for it, there is a follow step that helps with the balance of the movement. We don't keep weight on one leg for very long. So we can always modify movements. That's how it was written. So if you ever have problems with the movement, let me know and we'll create a modification for you that you're comfortable with. So Tai Chi is a series of movements done in a certain order. And so this is Tai Chi for falls prevention and also for arthritis. And that's what this series of movements is. So you may see Tai Chi that's done in a park, downtown Albany. You may travel to Japan and see people doing Tai Chi out in the open, and you scratch your head and go, I do Tai Chi, but I don't know what they're doing. That's because there are so many different Tai Chi series of movements. Even within Dr. Lamb's programs, there is Tai Chi for diabetes. Tai Chi for rehabilitation, Tai Chi for, trying to think of all the ones, osteoporosis. They're all health-based Tai Chis. So the one that I'm interested in learning more about is Tai Chi for rehabilitation. But it's a whole different series of movements. With that being said, we learn them in that order. So you may have a poster like this or a handout. If you need one, let me know and I can send you one. But this is a good way to remind you of the movements and what order they're done in. The first one that we do is called commencement. Now here's what commencement looks like, mirror image. So when I say mirror image, it's as if I'm your mirror. So if you watch me, I am shifting to what I'm saying is my right leg, stepping with my left, shifting left, and bringing that right foot forward. So that's mirror image. If it's easier for me to turn around, this is what it looks like when I shift right, step left, shift left, and bring that right foot forward. So the first movement at commencement is a step forward, led by your left foot. So let's practice just that step. Shift right, step left, shift left, right foot forward. Easy enough. Shift left, shift right, step left, shift left, right foot forward. Y'all know I'm not good at lying, so there are times whenever my brain is so confused as to why I'm saying left when I'm moving my right. So I got to get back in the practice of mirror image. Shift right, step left, shift left, right foot forward. Very similar to the movement we did for our knee warm-up, where we shifted and we stepped, shift, and instead of shifting back, we committed to the shift and brought the other beside us. So that's the footwork of commencement. The handwork starts your hands beside your legs. Your hands are going to face each other the whole time. So whenever I bring my hands up, they're facing each other. So we go from beside our legs, hands come up. Notice I didn't go higher than my shoulders. So I stopped at about shoulder height. If I go here, I start feeling tension in my shoulders. So when we come up, it's only shoulder height. Also, remember the soft bend in our elbow. Even though our hands are out, they're not out. So here versus here. So we keep that soft bend in our elbow up, and then we come down, about to our hips. Bring those hands in towards our hips. Come up, hands go out, and bring those hands in. So you saw a little movement in my fingers and wrists. You can go that far with it or you don't have to. Whenever you, and that just adds a little extra to the movement. But when you come up, your fingers are more pointed down. When you come down, your fingers are more pointed up. Bring it in, up. So my fingers are just pointed out until I come to that very last movement and end here with my fingers pointed up. And that gets me ready for open and close, which is our second movement. So just our hands, we bring our hands up and down towards our hips, up our body, out away from us, and back. Getting us ready for the second move. So reminding ourselves of our footwork, we shift right, step left, and when we step left, that's an empty step, meaning that we give no weight to that foot when we first put it on the ground. Then we give it weight and bring the right foot forward, and then even in our weight but back out to where there's weight on both legs. Again, hands up, down, in, up, out, and back in. Dr. Lamb describes it as like you holding a ball and you're showing it off and you want somebody to come play with it. So you bring that ball up. Oh, look at that pretty ball. Isn't it so nice? Don't you want to play with it? No, they don't. So you bring the ball back to yourself, but you really want to give them one more chance. So you give them that ball, show it to them again. They still don't want it. So you bring it back. So that's a way for some people to remember that movement. Putting the two together. So when I bring my hands up, nothing's happening with these legs. My weight's on both legs, just like when I start here. It's when my hands go down that I shift the weight to that right leg. So just experience that one weight shift. Up, down, shift right. Come up, down, shift right. To me, it just feels like a match for my hands to come down when I shift the weight down to one leg. Has that nice feeling. Boom, shift the weight. If you were to shift the weight as your hand comes up, it almost feels like you're fighting yourself. So really experience that of the weight shift as the hands go down. And then once you're down, then make that step, empty step, as we bring our hands up, in, and up. Now we're ready to shift as we put our hands forward. Shift as they go forward. See how that weight shift matched the movement of the hands. Right foot forward, then bring those hands back. That brings it back to put an end on that movement. So let's practice that several times. And commence. Hands come up, down, shift, shift right, step left, hands come in and up, shift left as those hands go out, right foot forward, hands come back. And it's just killing me not to say open and close. So let's just go ahead and add that one and we'll practice the two together. The second move is open and close. Open, close. I love that Dr. Lamb gave us a kind of an easy one. So we might feel defeated in some of the more difficult moves, but that one we know we can get. So let's put them together. Let's begin. Commence up, down and shift, step, hands come in and up, shift as they go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. The first two moves of our Tai Chi series. So let's keep practicing it. Up, down and shift, step, in, up, shift, forward, and bring those hands back, open and close. And again, commence, up, down, shift right, step left, empty, hands come in and up. Now shift left as those hands go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Now when I'm talking through it, it's not as smooth and continuous as our goal is, because I'm having to take time to say the words. So let's do it a few times without all my talking. Just follow me through the movement of commencement, and open and close. Here we go. And commence. Again, commence. Notice I kept my body upright. Nice relaxed shoulders, soft bend in my knees. My goal was to keep moving throughout, not pausing or stopping. And if you're just learning, it's natural to kind of be more choppy. So if you're kind of getting here and thinking, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? And you're a little bit choppy, that's okay. The smoothness will come, the continuous nature of it will come through practice. Commence up, down and shift. Step in, up, shift and out, forward, hands come back, open, close. Again, commence up, down and shift. Step, hands come in and up, shift out, forward, back, open, close. The more you practice, the easier it'll get. You'll be able to do it in your sleep. And commence up, down and shift. Step, in, up, shift and out, forward, back, open, close. Up, down and shift. Step, in, up, shift and out, forward, back, open, close. If you're thinking about breath, inhale up, exhale as you come down, and you take those next breaths wherever you feel natural for you to breathe. Because like I said, all of our lungs are different. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. That's more my natural rhythm of breath. So you find what feels most comfortable for you. You may not be ready to practice it with breath. I do want you to breathe, but maybe that's not your focus. Maybe your focus now is just making sure you keep an upright posture. Maybe that's not natural to you. Maybe it's natural for you to be a little hunched, have a little tension in your shoulders. Maybe that's just your natural way of holding your body. So it's going to take time to unlearn that. So you may just be thinking about posture, thinking about space of your step. So when I take that step forward, it's a very small step. But what happens if when I step, I take too big of a step? Well, I can say, well, that was a little big. Let me try to get it a little smaller this time. So you may be focusing on the space of your step. You may be thinking about empty step. We're so used to walking and immediately giving weight to the foot that we put out there, just like this. This is regular walking. I mean, I'm shifting my weight just as soon as I put that foot on the floor. That's our natural way that we walk. So we have to start learning to, when we step, I put that foot out there, but there's no weight on that foot yet. The weight is all still on this back leg. So that can be a place that you're really focusing on and practicing. So the weight shift, the empty step, now the weight shift. And when I bring that foot forward, I give weight to it. So now my feet are balanced, weight on both legs. So that's the weight shift of commencement. On open and close, no weight shifting happening. We're just simply holding our weight on both legs. All right, commence, up, down, shift, step, in, up, shift and out, forward, back, open and close. Commence, up, down, step, in, up, shift and out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Commence, up, down, step, in, up, shift and out, forward, back, open and close. So that gives us really good practice of our first two moves. Keep working it. Keep following whatever one of those principles that you want to really work on, whether it be the slow, smooth, continuous nature of your movement. I mean, you could be like, I really like that gentle resistance. I really like thinking about how maybe I'm moving through water. I'm creating tension that doesn't have to be there. Like I'm pushing, pulling through that movement. And that's that gentle resistance that just bumps it up a notch. And that's part of our Tai Chi. Thinking about upright posture. Thinking about how we transfer our weight. Empty steps. Hey, are we keeping a soft bend in our joints so we're not locking and keeping that nice energy from flowing through our bodies? Those are our principles, even in that one movement. Next week I won't be here. Remember, I'm going to be at that conference, but I will be back the following week, and that will be it'll be September, not October. That'll be September the 5th. So use next week as a time to review the YouTube and just our warm-ups and these first two movements. But when I come back on September the 5th, in 2 weeks, we'll do single whip. And single whip looks like this. Mirror image. Remember, we're coming from open and close. I shift left, step out right, and then adjust the weight to both of my feet. I push out, turn my hands away from me, then separate my hands with my head following my left hand. So that's our second move called, or third move, called single whip. It's mirror image. Shift, step out, adjust the weight, push, turn, separate. Remember to open both hands. So that's what we'll add on to it. So compared to last 16 weeks, I think this one is going to go a little faster because there are those tools there for you to practice whenever you're not in class. So I want you to come to class to learn, and we're going to learn our movements and then go away and practice, and then we can really explore the depths of the movements. And in 16 weeks, I feel like you're going to learn a whole lot more because you take time to practice. So that's my expectation, is that you do spend a little time, even if you aren't physically practicing, you're watching it and practicing that way. There's lots of ways to practice. You can close your eyes and think about it, and that's practice. Whenever I was first learning, that's what I would do. I would lay in my bed, close my eyes, start that diaphragmatic breathing, and then I would visualize in my head me doing hands up, shift, step in. I was visualizing that commencement movement. I was thinking of myself going through those movements, but I was laying in my bed. And that's how I got better at Tai Chi in the beginning, was just simply thinking about it. So don't write off that as practice, because it is. All right. Do you have any questions about what we've learned and went over today? Good. So let's cool down, and we cool down by giving ourselves a little fist massage. Rather than bending over to punch our thighs, try lifting your thigh as you punch it and keeping your body upright. Now, you may need to have a stable wall, table, chair. So when you lift it up, you don't feel off balance. Maybe you can't lift that foot and feel balanced. So listen to your body and use the tools that you have. But we always give ourselves a little fist massage to break up any lactic acid, and that makes us sore, and we try to break that up. Then another part of, and I always punch back here too. Another part of Tai Chi, we've talked about tension specifically in your shoulders, but you know, you can hold tension in a lot of places. I will catch myself in a meeting clenching my jaw, and it's all about, Jennifer, you don't have to say stuff, you know, like you can just be a listener. So I will clench my jaw to keep me from talking. Do you think that's helpful? Well, yeah, it's probably helpful to keep me from talking, but it will give me a headache because my jaw's clenched. So any tension causes pain. So we may be holding tension and not even aware of it. So part of our cool down is to gather tension. Excuse me. So we tense and then we relax. We create tension in our bodies and then we relax it. So sometimes being aware of what tension feels like, it's easier to let it go. So with each tense, relax even more the next time. Now the shoulder circle must be important, y'all, because we do it in the beginning and the end. I like to use it as inhale, exhale. Gentle resistance, like we're moving through water. And then we take our, I got to do mirror image, our right fist, and we never clench our fist, even though we call it a fist, and that's our inclination to just crunch it up. Tension causes pain, so we don't want tension there either. So we have that little loose fist that represents our strength. Our left hand, our fingers together represents our friendship, and our thumb in represents humility. So strength, friendship, and humility, and we put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste. So thank you. I appreciate you, Miss Gwen. I'm sorry for not doing class, but I hope I learned something, and I hope I come back and say that was the best decision for me to make.
Yeah.
But I will have my computer. So if you need to get in touch with me, you have my email, and if you call that direct line number, the 912-292-9052, if you leave me a message, it goes to my email. So even though I'm not in the office, when I check my email, I'll see that you have called me. So I will call you back and get back in touch whenever my schedule allows, with being at that conference.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, have a great week. I love you.
You too.
All right. Take care, and I'll see you next time. That's in 2 weeks. I think I said see you next week. It's such a habit, but I won't see you next week. All right, Miss Gwen. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and end.